What's up, YouTube? Mr. LawMSC here, and today we're going to do an overview of crafting. Now, I don't want to get too into the nitty-gritty of this. You can definitely get insanely detailed with crafting, down to the exact level that you should be shopping the item at and crafting the item at so that you can avoid the higher-end affixes that could potentially roll. It is complicated. I don't think we need to get into that level of depth. Maybe we'll do a crazy in-depth crafting guide later that's like an hour long and we go into all of that stuff. I just want to talk about crafting overall as a whole and describe the basics of it and describe how it works so you can at least aim for stuff that you would like to get and get some of the cool crafts and all of those things as we go along. So let's go ahead and jump over to the game right here and just talk a little bit about it first, which is, what is crafting? Crafting is taking a rune, a magic item, a gem, and it's a specific rune, specific gem, and specific magic item, and then a jewel of any kind, putting them in the cube, and then pressing the cube button. So for instance, let me go gamble an amulet really fast. Need a magic one. There we go. For instance, I have a magic amulet, a Rao rune, a perfect amethyst, and then just a random jewel. Now, the only thing that matters right now is the eye level of this amulet, which is hidden, but we know it's going to be -5 to +4 of my character level. So it's somewhere between 84 and 93. I would like it to be 90 or higher, but I can't guarantee that at level 89. I can only guarantee that I would be getting what I want is if my character was level 93. Because then I would go 88 and plus, and then with my character level and the crafting, and we'll talk about that in a second, how it works, I would make sure that I'm crafting higher. So right now is not actually like a perfect time for gambling and crafting for amulets, because you want to have at least a level 93 gamble the amulet. That's just a little note fact. But regardless, we're just showing what crafting is and how it works. So you do this and it crafts and it creates an amulet that is going to look like this, which is going to have mods that are fixed mods, and then are affixes, and then affixes that are going to generate on their own. Okay, so for instance, when I do that, and if I pull up my sheet really fast, we can show you. I did the caster amulet, right? So we did this, which was the Rao rune, the amulet, the perfect amethyst, and then, of course, a jewel with all of those things. So what is that going to be giving us? Well, if we come over here, and if I pull this up, let me do it like this. This will be the easiest way. We can see for a caster amulet, caster jewelry, right there, a magical amulet, I am going to be getting the following things. 4 to 10% regenerate mana, plus 10 to 20 mana, and faster cast rate 5 to 10%. These are guaranteed on every single amulet that I craft. And once again, if we take a look, we have 5 to 10% faster cast rate, which is 6%, 10 to 20 mana, which is 14, and what is it, 5 to 10%, 4 to 10% regenerate mana, which we have 6%. So you can see those three things rolled right there. Additionally, we rolled +1 to necro skills, +9 to strength, and poison length reduced by 75%. Okay. So these are the affixes that are grabbed out of the rare pool of affixes. You will not grab the magic pool of affixes. You're only going to grab affixes that apply to rare items. So I'll have a whole list of affixes in the game for you guys to look at, and I can even just kind of pull that up right now just to show really fast. Here are some affixes in the game. So you can see, for instance, you can have, plus 41 to 60 attack rating for a rare weapon, but you can't have that for magic, right? You can't have steel, or it can be magic, but you won't have these for a rare item. Thus, you will not get that amount of attack rating. So only anything that is going to be for a rare will you be able to craft. Okay. So, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about all of these pieces that we have right here and all the things that you can craft. There's 4 different types of crafts. You have hit power, blood, caster, and safety. And then you can do each one of these with any piece: helm, boots, gloves, belt, shield, body, amulet, ring, and weapon. Now, each of these will have a different requirement. You can see, for instance, if I want a hit power helmet, it needs an ith rune. If I want to hit power gloves, I need an ort rune. Additionally, there's also going to be specifics about what type of gloves you need. So for instance, for these hit power gloves, I need chain gloves, heavy bracers, or vamp braces. For the blood gloves, I need heavy gloves, sharkskin gloves, or vampire bone gloves. For the caster, I need leather, demon hide, or bramble, and then gauntlets, war gauntlets, and ogre gauntlets for my safety. These are the only kinds of gloves that you can craft for each specific of these. And once again, it is different runes for all of them, different gems for all of them. And the only thing that doesn't really matter is the jewel. You can put any jewel at any time with it, and it will always work. But these always have to be magic. You can't have rare gloves, unique gloves, white gloves, rare amulets, any of that. You have to have a magic one of these pieces right here for crafting. So, with all that being said, what's really useful, I've kind of highlighted the main 3 that you're going to see, and even this one right here can probably go down to like a yellow. The main 2 that you'll see are the following: caster amulets and blood gloves. The purposes of this: for the caster amulet, you can get additional FCR, which is what people absolutely love to have. Let me see if I go to this right here. Go back one more. Nope. There we go. Crafting recipes. So if we come right here, you can see faster cast rate 5 to 10%. People love that on an amulet. But what you can actually get is you can get the faster cast rate of 5 to 10% on top of rolling the 10% affix as well. So if you have the 10% affix plus this 5 to 10% on top of it, you can actually craft an amulet that has up to 20% FCR. And for many of you who know the importance of faster cast rate, you'll see that this is extremely important and extremely valuable, because if I can roll something like +2 to source skills, 20 FCR, plus to strength, resistances, obviously plus to mana, at, whatever. I'm rolling all of these things combined on an amulet. You're going to get something that is absolutely outstanding and amazing. And this is only possible through crafting. So you get this only on the caster amulet. You'll notice that on a caster shield, you get some block percentage, you get some energy on the ring, max mana on the boots, right? These other ones aren't giving it. The belt actually can give you 5 to 10% faster cast rate. So some people actually do like to craft a caster belt just to help them out a little bit, but you aren't going to stack it with another 10% because that affix doesn't roll. And additionally, Arachnid Mesh exists, which has 20% FCR anyways on it. So generally, this isn't like a late game thing. And then gloves and armor is 1 to 3 mana per kill, and then mana steal for these 2, which is pretty pointless for the caster stuff. So generally, these other casts are not going to be very good, or these other crafts for the caster. For hit power, Sometimes you'll see some people roll some hit power weapons or something. You do get a little bit of ED. So you can do that if you're like playing through the game and you want to craft a weapon that's got a little bit extra, right? It's only a tier rune, a sapphire, and a jewel on top of a magical blunt weapon. And then you can have a nice, enhanced damage right there, which isn't terrible, right? So this can be something that you'll see sometimes crafted, but generally it's not crafted too often. And again, none of these other ones are really that appealing. Safety isn't super useful, as a lot of it's like plus to defense and stuff. You do get a little bit of damage reduce here, but it's very flat, right? 1 to 2 magic damage reduce. It's not a lot. An interesting piece is that a safety shield does have 5 to 10% resist magic damage, which is extremely rare. And as you can see, it's that's what hammers are. That's what Berserk is. Bone Spirit and Bone Spear and all of that are magic damage. And this is I'm pretty sure the only place you're ever going to get resist magic. That being said, none of these really that useful for crafting. So you rarely see anything crafted with safety. And the last one that does get kind of used a little bit is blood. And again, this is where you will see sometimes a blood weapon, because once again, you're getting nice damage, but you also get some life and life leech. So it's actually not terrible. And so this is definitely a decent one for an axe if you're playing through the game. I like crafting a blood weapon every now and then. The helm is okay. You get some chance for deadly strike and you get some life. Not terrible, but once again, things like Guillaume's face and stuff are going to just eventually overwhelm and be better than these. The armor is not really. And then the belt sometimes gets used because it has open wounds on it. So some people like to craft open wounds if they don't have it elsewhere for, their character, their smiter or whatever it is. This can be a nice thing for their Uber character or something, assuming they don't have gore riders or whatever open wounds in some other source. So these belts can be decent for that. None of the other blood stuff super gets crafted. Maybe a ring just to get the leech and life and strength. And so this sometimes happens. Blood rings. But the main one that you'll see is blood gloves, and that's because you get right here this chance for crushing blow with hit points and life leech. And of course, if you can roll 20 increased attack speed and all of this on it as well, you can get a really nice set of gloves that also has some life and some crushing blow. And again, you can stack these affixes with the affixes that can roll on a rare as well. And so these end up having the potential to kind of be a best in slot glove. And so, yeah. So really, like I said, if we go back to these guides, these are going to be your main ones. And then I'm going to go actually ahead and highlight blood rings as well, because sometimes people really enjoy a nice blood ring. It does have some nice stats there. These are going to be the 4 that you'll mainly be crafting, with the exception of probably these being something that you might craft if you're like playing through the game. These yellow ones, and then these green ones are going to be end game crafts that you're going to have. Caster amulets, the blood rings, and blood gloves. Those will be the 3 things that you'll be going for. So, with all that being said, that really kind of leads you to going and getting these crafter sets and why certain things, such as having more, collecting these gems and having your perfect amethyst, having your perfect rubies, these sorts of things can be valuable, and why people will like these. And these rubies and amethyst are worth probably twice as much as any other perfect gem, because people are going to want to be crafting those 2 different types of crafts right there. That's pretty much going to cover the main piece of crafting. I do want to talk a little bit about more, because there's a lot of various forms of crafting, including like re-rolling things. So for instance, if I take a grand charm or any charm and put it in a cube with 3 perfect gems, I don't have any I want to re-roll right now, but then I put in a cube with 3 perfect gems, I can re-roll that piece, that Grand Charm right there. And that can be super nice. Just because you can try and reroll to get skillers and things of that sort if you get a garbage charm. I suppose there's one more piece I can kind of dive into with it, which is some of the technical pieces. Like I say, I'm not going to get too detailed on this because this is... it goes so deep. This hole goes insanely deep. But I'll say these things that are just good notes about it. Number 1, the properties of the magic item are lost when you craft the item. So this, if you have a really nice magic item that you want to have, you're not getting the 100 life on the amulet and +3 to, paladin combat skills and then crafting on top of it. You lose it completely. Number 2, any jewel works, magic, rare, unique, and it has no effect. It doesn't matter the level of it whatsoever. None of that matters at all. Number 3, you're going to get the fixed properties for the affixes there, and then you're going to get the random affixes generated. And so you're going to get more of these random affixes more often for the higher the level, the eye level. Number 5, like I said before, the random affixes are picked only from the list of affixes that are available to rare items, not to magic items. Number 6, the calculation for crafting is this. Eye level, and let me actually put this up because this is important. Eye level equals int or integer of sea level divided by 2 plus integer of eye level divided by 2. So sea level is your character level, and eye level is the eye level of the actual piece that you are crafting. So the gloves or the amulet or whatever it is. And then that first big eye level is the crafting piece level, right? This is your big eye. So this means that when I know it gets a little mathy. This is what I'm saying. I didn't want to get too deep on it. But basically, like I said, if I want to craft an amulet and I want to make sure that I can get the top thing, which is +2, the top affix, which is +2 to sorceress or paladin or any character skill, I need to make sure that big eye level is 90 or above. To do that, if my character is level 93 and I've gambled an amulet, it is somewhere between 88 and 97. Let's say it's 88. Well, 88 divided by 2 plus 93 divided by 2 is going to be greater than 90, which means it's going to be 90, which means I'm good to go. And so I can go ahead and craft anything with a level 93 if I've gambled there. Now that is just going to be for amulets. If you want to be crafting, for instance, let's fill in this math really fast for you guys. So let's say I'm level 93. Okay. And this is the eye level of the amulet that I gamble is 88 because gambling is -5 to +4. This means eye level equals, what's 93 divided by 2? Well, it's going to be 46.5 plus 88 divided by 2 is 44. The floor or the integer of that is 46 plus 44 equals 90. And I need it to be eye level of 90 or above for me to go ahead and get that affix guaranteed every single time. Okay. So, like I say, that's for this. But let's say I'm crafting some blood gloves and I want to get a certain affix that's, the best affix I want is only eye level 56. And then there's affixes that are above that, and I'm not interested in any of them. This is where you can actually shop or gamble with a character who's a lower level, maybe like 50, 60, 70, whatever it is, to go ahead and get those gloves and then gamble and craft with that character so you actually avoid some of the high affixes that you aren't interested in. This is where it gets really complicated. We don't need to dive into that. That's where you're like min-maxing on all of it, right? The important thing to just note is how to craft and what crafting is, and what we're doing when we're doing it, and why we're doing it for certain pieces, which is all explained hopefully in this video. With that being said, if you have any questions, any thoughts, anything down below, I'd love to hear it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace, YouTube.